Welcome to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Crypto Galaxy. My name is Ali Khan and I'm going to be your host and travel companion in this ride. So, strap your seatbelts and get ready. But first, a little bit about myself. So, since 2010, I've been already in the crypto space. 15 years and counting. And I have a very strong passion for decentralized exchanges. And in this episode, I will get into the tricky business of centralized but also decentralized exchanges. So, 2010, how did I find Bitcoin so early? I really can count myself as a pioneer in the space. So basically, it's three keywords: decentralization, alternative currencies, and open source. Where shall I begin? Open source. I'm a filmmaker actually, and back in the days I was living in Brighton in England, beautiful town in the ocean, and I was doing time-lapse videos with open source hardware and software rigs. It was also quite pioneering because before it was pretty expensive to do these kind of shots. If you want to have a little peek, here is some of my work, which actually got even displayed at the National Museum of London. Here we go. And the lion sleeps no more indeed. And what's up next? Alternative currencies. Well, I was always interested in alternative currencies, and I wasn't a big fan of the euro, the dollar, and all these fiat currencies, and I knew those were a big deal and a big issue in general, and this hidden taxation of inflation, etc. pp. And control, and well, I don't even want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole yet. However, there are things like the ISA-Taler, which is a local currency, but it's still one-to-one backed. It is really helpful. Don't doubt about it. It does help, especially economies in crisis. Even here in the area where there's actually a very strong economy, it does help local communities. And there is some sort of decentralization there, but it really didn't fulfill me, and I didn't get into that system because I just felt it was lacking something. And then there was, of course, Libra dollars and things like that, but they also have their failed history. And when I found Bitcoin, it was love at first sight. But decentralization, how did I find out about that? Well, I'll show you now a clip, a video, because I was researching a lot back in those days, 2010, and there was this clip from the Mike Wallace show, Black and White, legendary, with Aldous Huxley. And he was asked how would he make more utopian, a more brighter outlook, a more better ending of his masterpiece, Brave New World. And well, without further ado, here is the clip. Enjoy.
You're a prophet of decentralization.
Well, yes, if this is feasible, it's one of the tragedies, it seems to me. I mean, many people have been talking about the importance of decentralization in order to give back to the voter a sense of direct power. I mean, the voter in an enormous electorate feels quite impotent, and his vote seems to count for nothing. This is not true where the electorate is small and where he is dealing with a group which he can manage and understand. And if one can, as Jefferson, after all, suggested, break up the units into smaller and smaller units, and so get a real self-governing democracy.
Well, that was all very well in Jefferson's day, but how can we revamp our economic system and decentralize and at the same time meet militarily and economically the tough challenge of a country like Soviet Russia?
Well, I think the answer to that is that there are, it seems to me that industrial production is of two kinds. I mean, there are some kinds of industrial production which obviously need the most tremendously high centralization, like the making of automobiles, for example. But there are many other kinds where you could decentralize quite easily and probably quite economically, and that you would then have this kind of decentralized life. After all, you begin to see it now if you travel through the South, this decentralized textile industry which is springing up there.
Mr. Huxley, let me ask you this, quite seriously. Is freedom necessary?
As far as I'm concerned, it is.
Wow, those were times. Flashbacks, incredible. Well, so what are actually the issues? Mt. Gox rings a bell. The guy, he just stole the money, essentially, pretended it was a hack. Yeah. Well, he got jail time, and basically it caused a 50% crash of that entire crypto industry. And the list goes on. Every year, hacks after hacks, it's always the same pattern. They hold your keys, not your money. nighttrader.exchange, which is live today, has no custody, multi-signature, threshold signatures, UTXO IOU system, and a force majeure baked in. We are going to make exchanges obsolete, not just another exchange. But to that, I will get later. Let's first dive in a little bit more. What is the problem with centralized exchanges? Well, first of all, they loan your money. They legally just rob you, essentially. They do wash trading, 95% of fake volume, essentially. Selectively, they can hold and stop withdrawals. At Coinbase, I hear it all the time. People go through 5, 10, 15 days control and withdrawal issues, where in a system which is supposed to be instant. Bitcoin, hello, what are they doing? What are they thinking? They're just making another PayPal. Well, what else? Insurance fund is basically their bailout fund. The internal desk can front run you. They have full insight of the whole order book. They can play you left and steal from you left and right. Then there is the travel rule, regulations. Essentially, they are scanning you and leaving you completely naked. They are reporting everything to the IRS and the tax authorities, etc. And again, they can stop your funds. We have seen it. Canada trackers, Nigeria, Russia, etc. Government says freeze, they'll freeze. In the end, that's one of the big issues, and many of those big issues of centralized exchanges. But it doesn't even stop there. Supposedly we've got solutions and there are DEXs. But what's there? They use middle coins. The admin, they can upgrade the keys. Decentralized? Think again. Think again, really. 5 out of 8 multisigs quietly drains the treasury, or they just migrate to a new contract that bricks the old one. Happened with sushi swap forks, on Blast layer 2 projects. And essentially half of Solana meme DEXs between 2024 and 2025. I mean, on a daily period, people get robbed naked. It's incredible. You wake up, your liquidity is gone, and the Discord is deleted. No ramifications, nothing you can do about it. But that is ending. Other attacks include sandwich attacks. You click swap, a searcher box sees it, buys before you, and yeah, essentially sells right after you. You pay 20 to 80% extra. The list goes on. On Ethereum mainnet, it's attacks. On Solana, it's a bloodbath. Even private meme pool solutions just move the tax somewhere else. Liquidity pool make rug pulls essentially. The def mints 90% of the supply, adds liquidity, you ape. And then they remove liquidity. Plus honeypot the contract and you can't sell. Happens literally every day in 2025. The story goes on. Oracle manipulation, flash loan attacks. One, for example, 200 million flash loan. A price feed lies for 10 seconds. And every leveraged position liquidated. The attacker repays loan, keeps your collateral. Happens on Mango markets, on Aave forks, and on every chain with price oracles. The governance theater? Let me get started here. Community owns it. Yeah. A whale buys the majority of the government's tokens, votes to redirect treasury, or just inflates the supply. Dump on Retrail. Curve Wars, Yearn Drama, Olympus DAOs, forks, same story, new logo. Happens all over. It's terrible, it's terrible. And people don't even get educated enough about it. But that's why, don't panic. That's why you are here. Okay, so with nighttrader.exchange, how we actually made every single point that I just mentioned impossible. No custody, coins never leave your wallet. Your keys, your crypto. I mean it. We have a true peer-to-peer, multi-signature and threshold signature system. No admin keys, no upgrades, immutable forever. Open source, you can vet it yourself. No bullshit. It has a UTXO commitments. There's no public order book. No MEEF surface, middle coins, no liquidity pools to rug. On-chain, time-locked escrow. Even we can't touch it. If we disappear, or maybe you lose your keys. Who knows? How do you lose your keys? Your keys are created through an email password combination. That's why write always down your password and your email as well, in case you forget that one too. And store it somewhere safe, offline, because we can recover your funds. So if we disappear, after 1 year, time lock releases, and you can, with a redemption script, which you get on day one, you can check it out right now, you can recover your funds. So you're absolutely safe. And if you lose your key because you've lost access to your account, after 2 years, we receive your key and we can recover your funds. You need to prove it to us. And that's why we do have on $10,000 or more value and trade activity essentially, because if you can deposit as much as you want, there's nothing going to happen, and you can withdraw all the time, promise. Never anything we can do. But if you trade more than 10,000 a week, we will ask for KYC, which is also 100% privacy respecting. It goes on chain. Sensitive data is retained for a week maximum for going through the process. And essentially then it's encrypted and stored on a chain. We don't even have access at any point to that data. But if you lose your keys by forgetting your password, you can then go back and say, here, look, this is actually really me. Please, I need my funds back. So that is one of the reasons we do it. But of course, a little bit also if there is law enforcement asking for something. So we have a little bit of our backs covered. We can't be completely wild west, although I wish we could. Anyhow, so 100% privacy respecting. And then what else? Just check it out. Here, look, give it a try. Here's an invite code. There we have, by the way, an amazing referral system set up with 5 tiers where you get 10% of the trading fees on a lifetime. Other exchanges, they just give you a bonus of like $10, maybe if you're lucky 100 one time, and that's it. And then they keep the fees and make all the money and cut you out of the deal. Or they have a referral system, an affiliate program, but it expires after a year. Also, the way how it's accounted for is not quite transparent. I mean, yeah, they have flashy displays and nice interfaces, but they don't really show any on-chain activity. We can do all of that because it's all on-chain. On Bitcoin, by the way, UTXO, legacy coins, no Ethereum virtual machine, how many others do it? So yeah, it's a quite unique system. And yeah, you get these 10%. And if you're an influencer or a market maker or someone who's bringing in much more clients, there's also special partnership programs, essentially ambassador programs, where you can apply for and even get more. And there you go. 10 years of work, one big loss, zero tolerance for bullshit. Oh, I forgot to mention, I got even stolen myself from an exchange once. Mula it was called. And I had a lot of Monero on there. That was one of the most painful experiences. So I am personally invested in this endeavor. Besides that, I always was passionate about decentralized exchanges. That's why I created in 2014 the first Bitcoin ATM, an altcoin ATM. And that is how I got to learn and get to know David Zimbeck. And that's how everything actually really started. So yeah, there I was. Started in 2010 just as a geek, mining there my coins. There was like this web of trust. Basically, there was zero cost or 5 cents. You could buy thousands of thousands. Oh, I didn't buy. I only mined. Well, I did myself a lot of mistakes besides of getting robbed. But yeah, 2014, I started, I wanted to do always a decentralized exchange, and I didn't know how to do it. And the closest thing was a Bitcoin ATM. So that was an emerging business. People told me after a while, like, hey, well, why don't you do something out of it? And that's what I ended up doing. First altcoin ATM in the world. And out of all places, where did I do it? In Tijuana, Mexico. So really tough area. Needed lots of security, and later I was told it's kind of the kin discipline in finance, because you're dealing not only with all the crypto hassle and IT, you're dealing with a machine, moving parts, cash, customers, banks. I mean, there's literally everything you have to deal with. I was even asked if my machine can serve blind people. It's really, you have to think of literally everything when it comes to finance. So that's where I really learned a lot. And because of that, I got to know David Zimbeck, and with him I got a long friendship, and he started something called BitHalo, which is the first unbreakable contract and actually like the mother of all smart contracts. Out of that, BitPay was made, and for that there will be a special episode. And back then already we wrote the white paper for the NightTrader exchange, and then we refined it, and we actually had to do it in 2019 because BitPay was delisted because it introduced the dynamic peg, which was too complicated, supposedly, for the centralized exchanges. So we finally did it, forced, and made this amazing product, the NightTrader exchange, and here we are. Don't panic, and yeah, just don't get wrecked again, and you will not when you stick with us. So here's your towel, 42, the answer to the universe and everything and the rest. And yeah, thank you for listening, and there will be more episodes to come. My name is Ali Khan, and I wish you a pleasant day.
NightTrader presents a faster, cheaper, and safer crypto exchange. State-of-the-art multi-signature decentralized wallets. On-ramp with our local Bitcoin-like peer-to-peer markets, secured by double deposit escrow. With client-side key generation, you maintain control of your coins. Our unique IOU system allows for faster and cheaper exchanges than any other DEX. NightTrader is the first DEX for native UTXO-based coins like Bitcoin. Our force majeure recovery system ensures you never lose your coins again. Welcome to the NightTrader exchange. Sign up now on www.nighttrader.exchange.